Folks, thanks for joining us today. My name's John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next hour or so discussing a multi-purpose quote apparatus, software available without cost to agents contracted with Premier that give you an opportunity to not only touch base as to what the current situation is in the Medicare supplement space to make certain you have the programs you need, but also quote multiple programs and have a tool available to you that collects the scope of appointment and also gives you an opportunity for an easy cross-sale opportunity as well. Today's presentation is being recorded, and the presentation and the link to the recording, along with other material that we reference throughout the course of today's presentation, will be sent to everyone who RSVP'd to today's presentation. If you have questions, please make use of the software that you use to access this system. It gives us an opportunity to keep background noise down, and we do commonly answer most of the questions through the course of the presentation and address them at the end if there's something that we missed. I appreciate you coming on with us today, and let's look at some background on Premier for those of you who aren't familiar with us. We are a national marketing organization founded in 1968 that's part of the Integrity marketing platform. We have offices across the country and act as an insurance wholesaler, an insurance service provider, working with independent insurance agents only. We offer contracts at the highest possible commission levels, and there are recruiting contracts available for products where folks qualify. As I mentioned, we were founded 52 years ago now, and that 50th anniversary we feel is quite an accomplishment, and it's something that's come about from what started as a small family agency in rural Nebraska that's become one of the largest marketing organizations in the insurance space. We do so through a full portfolio of products that include the Medicare programs to protect that population financially through Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, and standalone Part D prescription drug plans. But we also offer a full portfolio of life insurance and annuities, final expense life insurance, and pre-need plans, in addition to long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and ancillary benefit programs such as dental, vision, hearing, critical illness, cancer, and hospital indemnity. That Medicare Advantage space, well, all the national carriers are there for you, along with many of the strong regionals. And we feel that we can service any of the needs any agent might have across the country in this space. That same philosophy carries over to the standalone prescription drug program, where those national carriers are there for your use through our organization. Our Medicare supplement portfolio is very large and robust, and we have tools set up that helps you be successful in this space. And we'll actually speak to that today. In the ancillary space, in each of the categories listed, the national players are there for you, the folks that have established a skill set already in those types of products, and they make a nice complement to a portfolio in the fact that it not only covers the specific needs of your prospects and clients, but also establishes an additional revenue stream for your agency. When we look at the Medicare space overall to begin with, it is a burgeoning market, obviously. For years now, we've spoken of the silver tsunami, the aging of the baby boomers, 10,000 people a day, one every 10 seconds, that ages into Medicare qualifications. It's important to note, however, at this time, if you look at just the agents, we're not seeing the true space that's available to us, not only with the agents, but the folks that are already on Medicare, because there's a portion of those folks that won't access their Medicare benefits immediately for one reason or another, and about a sixth of the Medicare population is actually under the age of 65, disabled and accessing the benefits because of that disability. So the programs that we offer and speak to today offer us the opportunity to capture this part of the market as well, because it is a diverse population we deal with in the Medicare space. 2/3 of the folks have 3 or more chronic conditions, and many of them have challenges with their finances. Their lower income and their savings might not be what folks would want them to be. So we need a full portfolio of products to address these needs and a means of actually selling those products to the population that we serve through electronic tools and other means to make certain that we're serving the population. And it's a group that needs our help. Sometimes the monetary challenges give us an opportunity for folks to realize that purchasing a program to cover that need is a great way to budget and helps deal with a strained budget overall as well. Because when folks deal with Medicare, when they come into Medicare eligibility for whatever reason, they have choices to make. And these are pertinent to our discussion today because in each of the options, we have a means to help further protect that population. So to start with, are we going to take Part B? It's an optional coverage. Most folks do. Then how do we cover what Medicare doesn't cover? Cover those gaps. Well, through either a Medigap policy, a standardized Medicare Supplement program, or through a Medicare Advantage plan, or just add the prescription drug coverage on to one or the other. So they have different choices to make, and in each of those circumstances, we have programs to help fill and account for the shortfall. When folks come into Medicare, obviously they're making some standard choices, and we're seeing a pretty even split of the choices made for the health insurance portions of it through Medicare Advantage and MedSup programs. And so having a tool that will help give us information on both of those circumstances can be most assuredly helpful and will help us also in dealing with the folks that in this graph show as original Medicare only. These may be folks that have retirement coverage, or they may have VA benefits or coverages somewhere outside of picking up a Medicare Advantage or MedSup plan, or they may actually be folks that are looking to self-insure consciously or not. So at varied population, we're going to look at different things that can help them across the board by using the tool to present them choices as to their coverages. And since we are dealing with Medicare in its own language, we do also have an acronym translator for you that might be helpful and will be a part of the follow-up to today's presentation. When folks enter into Medicare, if you're in that space, you're aware of the fact that some of their choices are dictated by time. If they're looking to do certain changes, well, the government's set up different enrollment periods for them, just like folks that are in the ACA program as well. And we have to be able to differentiate between what programs we offer are subject to these restrictions and what are not. And if they don't fall in those general categories, is there an extra get-out-of-jail-free card, a special election period that will allow us to change, or will it affect the other coverages we add to their current coverage? So, hence, let's look at a tool that can help you differentiate many of those things that we've just discussed. You can access it as a contracted agent with Premier through the systems and entering into the sales system to request it if you don't already have it. If you are an agent contracted with our organization and do not have access to it currently, we need to get that remedied. So once you go in and you go into that system, it gives you the opportunity to look at sales systems that are available to you with our organization. This quoting tool is the piece that we're going through today. The Medicare Center program is a program set up for Medicare Advantage and PDP programs to remotely enroll as well. That too is available to Premier agents without cost as part of their contracting with our organization. So when we go in to access the tool and you have actually gotten to the site that gives you access to it, you're going to see a little emblem like that. And keep in mind, it can be mobile too. It doesn't have to be desktop. And it gives you a variety of programs for you to use to help people, including yourself, make decisions about what they're going to do in the future. Utilizing the Medicare Supplement quote tool, and we'll demonstrate this live in a moment, it gives us the opportunity to see what programs are most competitive in our chosen market and whether or not that then dictates a need for us to contract with additional carriers. It also acts as a tool that you can use to offer a complimentary Medicare supplement review, where you can show folks options versus their current coverage, be it non-existent, MA, or another Med Sup. The Medicare Advantage piece here is a really nice tool that gives you information about Medicare Advantage programs in your market and gives you an opportunity to cross-sell. You have a eApp function that is ever expanding. This past week, the software system added eApps for dental, vision, hearing products as well, and that information will come as part of your follow-up to today's presentation too. You have then the final expense life insurance quoting tool. It is the single piece on this software that doesn't allow necessarily for a sale at the same time with some of the other products, unless it's a Med Sup. Because if you are working with Medicare Advantage plans, you have that 48-hour cooling off period if it's not a health-related product. It's also a great tool as you pull this up and are working with your prospects and clients to remind them of the fact that, hey, we may well be talking about final expense and other programs as well. You have then also the opportunity to access hospital indemnity and dental programs too. It's a nice way to have a portfolio of products that not only serves the purposes that are stated with the categories, but gives you an entree into other programs you offer as well, life insurance, annuities, whatever else it may happen to be, because you're going through a portfolio, basically, of product laid out on the software. And that's kind of the same mindset you can take with the use of an eScope as well, by sending those out to folks that are looking at Medicare products, since that eScope lists other programs as well. It gives you the opportunity to set the expectations for an extended conversation and lay out the fact that those programs are available. Since scope of appointment for Medicare Advantage and PDP programs, it is a requirement to keep those saved for a 10-year period. This software system will do that as well in the document locker, where it'll store it for you compliantly for that required time period. When you go into the Medicare Supplement portion of this, it's a very simple piece of information to fill out, not a lot of questions. It pulls up detail. We'll demonstrate that shortly. It also gives you the opportunity to select certain underwriting situations as well, simply because you have a program that may be existing coverage, by price. Are you showing candy to a diabetic and they're not supposed to take it because they won't qualify for it? This is a great tool to help you in that regard as well. The information that's available on Medicare Advantage programs doesn't give you a side-by-side comparison, but it's got a lot of neat data in it, so we're going to go into that in just a moment. And it gives also the opportunity with many of these programs to do that e-application. Making life easier is part of what we're looking to do. We're looking to work smarter, not harder, all those nice little cliches. But doing an electronic application not only speeds up the process of translating what you're writing on that application, because some of us don't have very good penmanship, but it also then speeds up the opportunity to process it and issue it, making certain that you're taking care of your folks and you get paid quicker also. Same kind of scenario comes into play when you look at the final expense component of this, how simple it is to pull up different systems, and the same with hospital indemnity and dental programs. When you look in the Medicare Advantage portion of this software and you pull up a particular carrier It then gives you the opportunity to fill in the gaps, and then subsequently quote programs from any of the carriers in the software to fill that gap. It's a great way to lay out different pieces of information. We're not going to go through that completely today, but there is a link to a recording that will come to you as part of the follow-up that talks and speaks to how you can take advantage of this portion of it. So, since we've been speaking of that, let's go in and look at the software itself. Logging in. If you're not hearing the theme to Jeopardy in the background, turn on your speakers. Just kidding, it's not going. It's thinking a bit. Bear with us. It then gives us the different categories to which we were speaking of earlier. Obviously, my screenshots are a little smaller, so it works out pretty well. It gives you then the information on the eScope, and we'll have a link from CSG that gives you an idea as to how to do that, and the storage piece. So we're not going to go through that today, but let's look at the Medicare Supplement portion of this. It gives you notices of updates on a constant basis as they come through. So this one's speaking to the fact that if you're quoting Medicare Supplements, you have to be aware of the macro legislation that came into effect the 1st of January, restricting certain plan types to certain folks who have accessed Medicare by a deadline. What it does then for you, let's just plug in my home zip there. Lay out some information. We'll ask that it sort the data by price, since in many circumstances, cost is a driver in change and in purchase. We won't apply the household discount. You can, obviously. That is also a factor you have to consider, in that certain carriers will allow you to offer a household discount just because someone over an age lives there. Other carriers require that they both apply for the coverage. Let's look here. It'll ask how old the person is, if they're a tobacco user, when the coverage is going to be kicked into effect. And it gives you hopes and hints along the way. You pull it up. Once again, Jeopardy theme. It's calculating the rates for a 65-year-old non-smoking male, non-tobacco using male in a North Texas zip code. Since I am a complicated individual, it's thinking really hard on how to do this. Bear with us. They were doing some modifications to this system, so it may be in a circumstance where Wills won't actually do what we want it to do at the moment. I received that notification that they were making that update after the webinar had been scheduled. My apologies for that. Bear with us. There we go. Just took a little while longer. It then gives you an ongoing synopsis of which eApps are available in this MedSup space, and it'll price out the different programs available through Premier on the system by price, and then also we can go through, add additional discounts if appropriate, make it annual in the rate for some of those circumstances where an annual discount may be applied to the policy and it might affect that overall cost. We also have the underwriting filters, and then a nice piece that gives us market analysis. What this does is it gives us the opportunity, if you use this printout system or this display, to explain cost increase into Medicare Supplements, which a brief discussion can help our persistency, or at least our availability of maintaining that client. It'll give the rate history, what they've seen in the past on it, and how you can explain those circumstances. It's a nice piece to include in most any of the presentations that you make. We go through and we look at a number of different programs that are available in this system. And sorry, I'm just seeing ERP pop up number 2, and you look at the amount of premiums that they have nationally versus some of the other programs. It's mind-boggling. But it gives us then the opportunity to go in and access carrier resources. Sometimes the carrier doesn't have an eApp function through this system, and that will help. But it'll also give additional plan detail and give us an opportunity then to take this information, if we're doing it live, or if we're doing it, as the old TV commercial said, Memorex, you can save it in a PDF. It will look just like this. Or if you save it in a Excel file, it actually lays out all of the plan types and all of the different companies in a different format. Let's pull that up because it's a very nice piece to see and give us the opportunity to discuss that. It's a nice thing to have in our files, and it's not necessarily something I would recommend using with the prospect or client. I think this system's much more readable, but it gives us then the opportunity to have that in our systems. I thought I had that fixed. There we go. Let's look. It gives us an idea as to documenting the conversations that we've had and the different things that you need to do in today's litigious society in order to maintain a good file. So it'll give you here, as you can see, the different plan details, the rates across the different plan types. And let's look at just this and see how it pops. They'll give you that detail across the board with a lot of nice points of comparison quite easily. You can use this obviously in presentations, but you may not want to complicate things or not. So this gives us then a great way of going in and looking at, hey, do I have this carrier? Where do I look for additional information to make certain that it's necessary to have it as part of my portfolio, different pieces like that. So it gives you then information that you can use to make certain you have the carriers you need and present a demonstration of the programs as well. So we can switch programs here. Let's go and look at the Medicare Advantage and PDP programs. Go to that same zip code. It gives us then the opportunity to look at different effective years. Obviously, we can only use the current year until October, when 2021 information will be available, and then we'll have both of those years. But we can then filter it by plan type if we wish, and it then also has a low income subsidy level, which can be very helpful in demonstrating costs on the Medicare Advantage plans and PDP programs, of course, too. Let's look at this. Again, it thinks. And it lays out the different programs that are available in that particular zip code. One of the things I like to use this for, annual rate's kind of a moot thing, but we look at this market analysis again. It gives us an idea as to what our true scope of prospects that are out there are available to us, and also makes us aware of the fact that, hey, this is a carrier I got to have as well because I need to be competitive. And it then gives you that information that is necessary to help carry through a presentation in your own mind to be educated. Obviously, you want to use the approved sales tools and systems, but it gives us an idea of, wait a minute here, there we go. I'll cheat for just a second. There we are. And it gives us the penetration by that carrier in that market. It's a great way for us to plan, and it's a great way to help have the information at our fingertips to help explain to our customers the choices they truly do have. You look in some of the other categories, the life portion of this, the final expense quoting tool, is very rudimentary and gives us, let's look at a 65-year-old male in Louisville, Texas, that doesn't use tobacco. And let's say he wants a little more coverage than what it defaults to. Thinks again. This is where the actuary function comes into play. A lot of numbers being crunched in the background, and for some reason, my internet is bogging today as well. I apologize for that. And there you go. $25,000 worth of coverage for a 65-year-old male in Louisville, Texas. Well, you got a new product coming out. Brand new this week, the Ascendo program that come out very aggressive and with some very neat pieces. And they're actually working on a presentation for that for you as well. So it gives you detail of different carriers that fit that scenario. Same sort of circumstance here, where you can download it as a PDF for your files. You can then email it, print it, save it, whatever you wanted to do in that circumstance. Looking quickly into some of the other programs, the hospital indemnity program is one where you can quote all by itself for no reason at all, just to make certain folks are aware of the fact that there are additional expenses when someone goes into a hospital, but it's also the component that you would use and fill the gap coverage. It then gives you an opportunity to go by and adjust these different programs, print it, and or save it to a PDF as well. Gives you some really nice components and pieces of information, all part of a singular system. And so if you have a Medicare Advantage program where you're visiting with an individual in July that does not have a special election period or no means by which they could change their base Medicare Advantage coverage if they wanted to, you plug in that compare tool, fill the gap, and this is what you would access to fill in it. And obviously, you'd look at the programs that you already contract with or identify a need for a new contract. New way to solidify your presence in that household and have additional means of revenue for your agency as well. Quick peek at the dental. I was going to say if it took any longer, it was chewing on it. I'll leave that bad joke away. This gives you then opportunities to quote different programs and different family populations. You're doing an individual and spouse, or the whole family. You have those discounts. I like the fact that it gives you access to carrier resources right away, so you can access that information you need immediately. So what you have is a very solid tool for you to use across the board with different programs and utilize other components of it to add value to the program. So you've got that eApp function that I mentioned, and you'll have a demonstration here or ability to access the demonstration on how to do that. Here's that scope of appointment piece with the recording. This is the demonstration of that LIS tool That could be very helpful at this particular point in time, and the fact that folks that have low-income subsidy have a special election period. But this gives you the opportunity then to make certain that they can see the advantages and disadvantages of having prescription drug coverage in a standalone plan or part of an MAPD program. And it's important to note we don't want to have all our eggs in one basket, so this gives us the opportunity to access multiple programs and give us different ways into the house and different ways to garner our income from those individuals, with those individuals. Some reasons why you want to utilize this tool, have it available, but also work with Premier in order to access it. We do offer simplified electronic contracting. This is the insurance-based system that allows you to create an agent profile. So it has your E&O, your licensing, all that information in there. And for many of the carriers, will allow you an electronic contracting process where you're filling out the contract just once, and then you can select multiple carriers if appropriate. It does also give us the misnomer of not every carrier uses it. The bulk of the folks do, but it sure does help speed up the process when we are looking at a cross sale and we realize that that product's not contracted. Let's do it quick. There you go. We also offer discounted errors and admissions coverage to agents with our organization. That's that qualified agent piece. Well, you got a contract with us. It gives you the opportunity to purchase a program that protects you regardless with whom you contract and for what carrier. Most of the carriers will require now $1 million claim limit at least. This program will do that for you. It also has a higher claim rate available for you as well, but it'll protect you regardless of if you have all your business with one marketing organization or multiple marketing organizations. We also help you maintain your license through a discounted program with WebCE that gives you that continuing education credits that you need. And you also have a means of picking up modified guarantee issue disability income plans for yourself at a discount where you're getting your commission out of the program as well. It's a great way to add to your own benefit package. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded, we have a number of other recordings in our library that deal not only with marketing tools or specific marketing programs, but in many circumstances, carrier offerings as well. You can access it on our website or on the YouTube channel 24/7. This is once again that tool that's available to you without cost, and you have the Medicare Center program available in that circumstance as well. Since much of the ancillary programs that we discuss are available in the quoting tool, and those Medicare supplement programs are often subject to other incentives or it may help you qualify for a trip, we want to make certain that you're aware of all of the compensation to which you are entitled. This section of our website does that, and it also gives you information about our incentive for our agents as well, which this year was going to be a cruise from Miami to the Bahamas. I leave this in the presentation just to remind us that, hey, wow, talk about a different time in our lives, eh? You also have an opportunity to access different lead programs through our organization. We can offer a contact list available to you, butted up against Do Not Call for a very minimal cost or no cost at all, depending upon your contracts. And we also offer a means for you to approach different centers of influence in different manners in your community. You have a target market, and you work the Medicare space. Obviously, if you're on this quoting tool, you're probably in that space. But this gives you access to then different ways of approaching the community, including retail marketing, which the store selection process for Walmart is already going on, and carrier programs will be coming available very soon. We recently did a presentation too that helps you maximize the value you get out of retail programs. so watch for that. We also have a system to help you work with faith-based organizations in your community. These are a great means of reaching a population that doesn't respond to traditional marketing, but sure does go to church. And we have programs that help you work with the folks that deliver the care that is covered by the programs you offer. So doctors, hospitals, dentists, those individuals, a means of working that population efficiently and effectively to grow your income. Some carriers do offer their own generated prospects to their contracted agents. That's normally more of a case of folks who specialize in one area, like dual special needs plans, or during the annual election period in the Medicare space. We do offer different internet leads. We have a Facebook program now available for final expense and Medicare, and we still support direct mail. As Mark Twain said, the reports of my demise are greatly exaggerated. It's not dead. We discount it. And based on production, you can really commit to a consistent mail campaign on an ongoing basis and afford to do so. So all this said and done, what we're looking to do by offering different tools and support across the board for you as an agent is to earn your business. And if the tools that we looked at today, the tool we looked at today is of further interest to you, watch for the follow-up, because those different subsections that we weren't going to take 2 hours to do today, give you in little bites, you can take care of that to see, okay, this will work for me. Do I have access? What else do I need to do? What do I need to do with my marketer to make certain that this tool is used consistently by having folks to talk to? So consider those different components of a decision, make that decision, and let's work it. You can reach any of us here at Premier at 1-800-365-8208 or through our website at premiersmi.com. We look forward to a conversation with you about these tools and how you can maximize their value for you. I'm going to check for questions really quickly. Does the system include Blue Cross Blue Shield companies? That's a yes and a no answer, and I don't mean to be evasive. It depends upon your state. There are certain circumstances. There are 17 different organizations that administer Blue Cross Blue Shield product, and some of them offer contracts through brokers, some of them don't. If they don't offer a contract through a broker, it's not going to be on the system. So that's a yes and a no question there. Let's see what else we got. Well, let's see. This is a question. Is this an update from? Having a hard time with that one. Sorry. Still looking. Please, how to market hospital indemnity. And that is one of the presentations or follow-up pieces attached to your follow-up on how to cross-sell, and it gives you an idea as to how to market hospital indemnity. We're also looking to create a piece that will give you a cross-section of all the companies too, so watch for that as well. And I think that's it. If there's a question I missed, and I'm only reading part of this when my software is doing some funky stuff for me, we'll make certain that I get you the answer to that as well. All that said and done, folks, thanks for coming on the line with us today and looking at this opportunity. We look forward to conversations in the very near future. And until we're able to speak, we wish you good selling. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.